Hello and welcome to another retro review of equipment. If you saw last times, I was reviewing the Rhythm Track 234. This time I'm reviewing the Korg ES-1. I've had this for a little while. It's certainly not a recent purchase, but it is awesome. Now, if you don't know from last time, we have some rules of engagement for these retro reviews. So this doesn't actually need to be necessarily retro. I have some Volkers that I'll be reviewing at some point in the future, but generally speaking, the device must have cost me less than $200 AU. It should have MIDI, should not be just a home keyboard, although I have some strange home keyboards for good reason coming up soon, hence the exceptions allowed, and one would hope that I haven't actually put any spelling mistakes in there. So let's get into it. So this is the wonderful Korg. It is very, very cool. It's if you haven't seen it, there's a bunch of reviews around the place about this, and for good reason. It's easy. Basically, you've got your samples here, so basically, and you can assign anything to this. There's 99 samples in here, about 95 seconds worth of sampling, but it's more of a performance tool than, say, a full-blown sampler a la ACIS 2000s, 3000s, those kinds of things. It is meant as a very quick performance tool. You've got your two AB boards here, which obviously cut each other off, so good for hi-hats, closed hi-hats, open hi-hats, that kind of stuff. So you can do all that kind of stuff. This is just some stuff that was built in, and let's go into other things. Other things to note is you've got basic headphones, general out. Audio end's interesting. It is a stereo jack or mono jack. It is not two ins and an adjustment for that. Basic MIDI uses old smart media cards. So this is the age when we thought smart media was going to be the way, and then we found out later that no, it's not at all. So that can be a little bit tricky to try and find. Now I picked this up as a bargain for two of them for $160 shipped, and funnily enough, one was actually marked as the broken one, and this one is actually the broken one, hence why it's got the number 2 up there, because I was quite confused about which one was which. The other one, which was actually the working one, has got some strange problems with its bit distortion, but effectively what was happening on this is the power connection had lifted from the circuit board, so I just got in there and resoldered it. Basic 9-volt power supply. So the great thing about these particular units is they're obviously all great to work with other EA ones of their ilk, so EA1, ER1, and they actually all sync in lovely. You've got 2 banks of 64 of loops, which you can go through, and you can just use the wheel, or you can obviously go up and to get around. It's fairly easy to navigate. When it finishes. They have, basic. I'll go through it. I'm actually going to go and create something in a second, just to show you how kind of versatile it is. You've got up here. Hang on, I'll see if I can actually move my thing out the way. Oh, look, that stays where it is. You've got delay. You've got there. You've got effects. You've got for each part here, you can then affect it. So let's go with some finishes. So for example, you can pitch. And obviously pan. I'm hoping that actually pans. You've got you can also do tricky stuff with the audio in, and I'll get to all of that in a minute. So let's go and we'll find blank patch. So all blank patches start with a lovely 4/4 kick. You'll see that's on there. So I'm just going to take that off. We've got snare attached to that. Some terrible sound. Let's get rid of that and go to sample. And we're actually going to try and sample. So I've got my lovely microphone hooked straight into the back here. I'm going to put in some particularly bad sample of me in there. So it's saying mono. I could have a stereo sample if I particularly want it. And I'm just going to make a bleh sound. So bleh. Oh, hang on. Must put the microphone. So, let's see if this blah blah. So blah. Yep. Okay. So it's saying to me that these are the spare spots. Let's put this up here. The little spots, spare spots, is indicated by this. So we'll make it 55. We're going to write it. It does take a little while to write. While it's writing, we are talking early tech. This is really good. It does actually sync really well with MIDI clock and that kind of stuff, and it's really good at that kind of stuff. So now it's on 55. So if we go back into pattern mode, let's replace the with my sample, which is easy enough. I just go down to sample. I've already chosen the slot. Boom. Boom. Yes, that's right. Now, so we can go into a basic record. Just go boom, 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 boom. So I've got on the decimator at the moment. I'm just trying to have a bit of fiddle with this and see if there's a... So it's really good at doing lots of weird stuff. So let's put that in with that kick. And I can just go click on that and I can just use the basic step things. Don't like that. So, as you can see, it's incredibly quick to come up with something. And, you know, so I don't like that particular snare. You've got all your basic muting, so you can do all that kind of stuff. The best bit is you can actually do things like this. Let's go into here, and let's say we want to put an effect on our voice. And I should be able to go, so it's distorting in real time, which will obviously pick up this mic and that mic at the same time. But if I go what it's done is it's obviously only making sounds when it's actually lit, and you've got obviously an accent, so you can actually change this for other things. Now, and make it it's not particularly musical like that. it's great. It's really, really cool. So once you've obviously got your pattern, you're happy with it, write it, it's in there, and it's done. So I can go back to something else, which is just a basic one. And you get to create all kinds of great stuff. Yes, and basic. And so forth. So hopefully it's not too loud. Length of patterns are restricted to 4 bars. That's a problem and a little bit annoying at times, although they are pretty smart as far as when you increase the bar length or shorten it, if you can increase it, it just copies over the existing bars, which is something that the R2-234 didn't do and was annoying me, and I played because I was used to these pieces of equipment and it's very good with that. My biggest issues that I have with the particular Electribe lines and the early Electribe lines as opposed to the modern ones, which I haven't had much experience with, is say I get a particularly good setup of sounds I want. I go, great, and I go, here is the loop, the 4-bar loop, and then I think, well, I want a variant of that. You've got to copy every single part. You can copy the different patch and move it across, that's fine. But if I then change the pitch on a particular sound, it doesn't translate each loop. Each one of these is individual. It would have been nice had Korg sat there and thought the actual step sequence should be different than the part setups and the effect setup. You can, of course, you can kind of copy it through and stuff like that, but it's really a little bit annoying, and it gets really annoying. This actually gets away with it a little bit because you tend to focus so much on the samples, and you do affect them, and they can really affect. I mean, there's actually not a bad set of effects on this. So you've got your hang on, helps if I actually turn the effects on. You can really do some cool stuff with it, but again, effects is across the whole. There's only one effect per patch. Again, with delay, delay is weird in the sense that it's delay across the whole thing. So let me explain. So say for example, I think cool, let's put some delay on. When you finish Korg, did you notice the delay is not just on the kick, it's also on the snare? Not a big issue, but a little annoying. The only other thing too, and this is where the vocal line really, Korg did much better with the vocal line, is that each one of these, you think, cool, I can record a single one as what they call a motion sequence over the whole loop, but it's only for one. So pick one. Now, I don't know why it was so difficult to say, well, let's do a motion sequence on each one of these. Maybe it's a memory issue. I don't know, but it is a bit of a failing because you sit there and think, I got it again, I can do this really cool sweeping thing and I can record that in. You can hear that's recorded that in, but I can't then do it for that one. So now I have to play that live. It would have been nice had they done that. So maybe that's been improved on, certainly on the later Electribe lines, I would hope. Other things, I have a little trouble with the sampling. I don't know if it's just me. It gets a bit finicky about the start and ends. It's like it ignores it. It's not, maybe it's, I haven't done it properly, but it's not intuitive. Other things to note, there is an update for this. Now, interestingly enough, the Electro S Mark II, which is the one after this, which is the lovely metal case and all the rest of it. You can see this one's a bit old and scratched and stuff like that. You can download, if you go onto the Electribe Yahoo group, and download the firmware and put it on these ones. And this one actually is all, at the moment, all set up to do that. Now the difference is, I think, is the wah is actually not a wah, it's some other effect on this, which is great and just gives you a bit of later versions. You can flick back between them. It's one of the few things that this Electribe can do that the other two can't do, as far as the E models, the early models. I don't know about the M. I don't have an M. Anyone want to give me an M? Take it. Just anyway. Okay. So rounding up, awesome little device. This one leaves my possession of my dead body. I would. It's great. It's limited, but for performance, it's fantastic, and you know it's fiddle worthy, and you know. If I can find something that's actually got. See, right, loud. I think it's just one particular standard that they're using a lot, but there's some really cool. Let's see if I can find some. Some people that do jungle. You've got swing, you've got all those kinds of things on it as well, which makes it really fun to play with. And again, swing is per each one of these patches. Pick it up. I see these go from anywhere from about 150 or 130. I think it's the cheapest I've seen them. Right up to about $300. I think if you can pick one up for between 150 and about $200, really good. Would I go over one of these versus a Volca sampler? I probably would, mainly because I don't know. Maybe I need more experience with the Volca sampler. Haven't been. I don't know. Maybe the stuff I haven't seen has really impressed me. So. I'll maybe if I pick one up, I'll play with it. But great to use. The good size. They're light. That's the other thing they're really light, and you can take them around. And having the full, yeah. I mean everything's kind of very simple. You can hook up each one of these as externally triggered by MIDI. You've got. You can. Oh, there's a song mode as well, which is just pattern chaining. Really, just chain the different patterns. If you want to listen. Well, this is one loop. What else is on there? Yeah, generally not much to them, but for that reason, they are great. So. All I can say is grab yourself one. In the meantime, I'm going to have a bit of a play and see you out.